Hello, North Country soccer fans, and welcome to the Sports Complex in Beekmantown, the new Sports Complex in Beekmantown, and it is a beautiful complex. I had a chance to walk onto the field earlier before the game, and it is an incredible field here for a football game or a soccer game. It is the 29th day of October, 2019. I'm Joey Trombley, along with Lee Barcombe, and on the camera is the founding father of hometown cable himself, Calvin Castine. And it's semifinal action in playoff soccer. The number one ranked Eagles, the division champions, the Chazy Eagles, taking on their rival in soccer, Lee, the Boquet Valley Griffins. And put the records aside, it's a rivalry like no other in Class D, and anything can happen.
Yeah, you have the Boquet Valley team is comprised of the old Elizabethtown Lewis Central and Westport Central, both schools longtime rivals of Chazy throughout the years in all sports, but particularly in soccer. So third meeting of the season this year between Chazy and Boquet Valley.
And quickly, the Eagles score on a mistake, it looked like. And oh my, Lee, within 29 seconds, Chazy scored, and it's not being called back. And the Eagles quickly strike 1-0.
I'll be honest, I didn't even really see it. I think Riley Hansen was running toward the ball, but I don't really know who shot it. We'll have to rewind. If you're sitting at home, rewind and rewatch that.
Well, they'll get up in the press box here. They'll get who got the goal and the assist, so we'll announce that shortly. But while we're just doing kind of our intro, that's how quickly the offense of Chazy was able to score.
Well, and I know, I was thinking coming into the game, the first goal is going to be extremely important, and if Chazy, being the more high-powered offense, was able to put that marker on first, I think that's going to cause more of an anxiety for this Boquet Valley team, and sure enough, they do.
Now, Riley Hansen will get the goal, and that's no surprise. Chazy has Riley Hansen and Heath Lucas. They're the 1-2 punch for the Eagles, and with 29 seconds into the game, they score. And Hansen's trying to split the defense again and push on Hansen. And a lot is riding on this game, Lee, because the winner of this game moves on to the sectional championship game on Saturday, right here, the same spot. And we know who their opponent is right now.
That's right. The other semifinal game took place starting at 3 p.m. today between number 2 seed Scroon Lake and the number 6 seed Keene Beavers, and Scroon Lake came out on top 4-3.
And so Scroon Lake makes it to the championship game. They'll play the winner of this game between Boquet Valley and Chazy. And statistically speaking, Lee, Chazy comes in here leading in all those categories.
Yeah, you talk about goals for, goals against, certainly the record, that sort. Chazy, more high-powered offense than Boquet Valley. Their record coming in 4-7-4, and they only scored 17 or 14 goals this season, so they're not a high-powered offense. But Blake Libery, the man with the ball right there, I believe, is their leading scorer and really their only offensive threat.
And defensively, Chazy has him in that category also.
Yeah, with senior goalkeeper Gabe Huckrow really holding down the fort, so to speak, in the Chazy defense. They did have a major injury a couple games ago in which their sweeper Connor McCarthy is out for the season with a broken leg. But veteran Tanner Connors has stepped up nicely and taken over that sweep role.
So Chazy early on here in the first half leading 1-0, and it's Heath Lucas for Chazy. Will now send the ball forward to the far side. He was trying to find, is that on the far side, is that DJ?
DJ Gagno, correct.
Okay, so tried to find DJ Gagno, but the ball comes back deep into the defensive zone. So the ball is knocked out of bounds by Drake, throw-in for the Griffins, and it was Caleb Pettit. And the ball comes back out, so Pettit will take another throw-in for the Griffins. He takes it down the line. He was trying to find the feet of Stevens. It was controlled by the defense of Chazy. And it's going to be a push on, or it's out of bounds on Hansen. So another throw-in. And actually it was a foul on Hansen. So you're having to stepping up for the kick is Matt Pribble. And he's in a nice spot here to serve the ball into the 18. He goes outside the box. And that ball's knocked out again by Joey D'Andarza. So a throw in for the Griffins. And Pribble gets the ball in, trying to find Stevens, but it's cleared out by Dean Darza. So another throw in for the Griffins. It's number 18, Lobdell, Aiden Lobdell. Ball comes down the line, and that goes off of Drake. So the Griffins are controlling at least that side of the field right now.
Yeah, right now, and it's just a matter of Chazy's trying to get their short passing game together, and here's the man that can do that with Heath Lucas.
And he pushes it back to Drake. Drake sends it right toward midfield, and it's picked up by Aiden Lobdell. Lobdell sends the ball forward, trying to find the feet of Stevens, but it's picked up by Heath Lucas. Lucas trying to split the defense, but 3 men were on him, and it was knocked away by Pribble. Goes on to the feet of Pettit. Pettit sends it across, trying to find their man, Mr. Liberi. Liberi trying to get the shot off. He does, and it goes off the defense of Chazy, but you saw the speed of Liberi, and Chazy has to defend against that.
He's a skilled athlete, and the thing on Blake Liberi is that some games he's not real into it, and this game so far looks like he's into it, and he's a dangerous player.
Well, I would say in the semifinals of the sectionals, you'd be into the game, and it is going to be Ethan Graham. He sends the ball across, a nice, beautiful shot across the box, and the ball is hit high in the air, coming to the near sideline. Hustling for the ball is Lobdell, and that goes out of bounds off of Chazy defense. So quickly the ball comes into play, and it was Gagno trying to control it, but it's controlled by the Griffins and serves across and cleared out by Connors, and that's Tristan Connors, or Tanner Connors. My mistake again. And it is Huckrow coming off the line. So the Griffins have been putting a little bit of pressure on after falling behind 1-0 quickly, but Chazy has withstood the storm.
Well, that shows a lot of character on the Griffins' part for them to be able to come back, be demoralized 29 seconds into the game and give up a goal on a mistake, and have to come back, and they're actually pressuring this solid Chazy team. So this is good for Coach George to see this going on right now. Coach McAuliffe, not so much.
So the ball goes back, and it is Drake trying to clear it, and it goes on to the feet of Graham. Graham sends it across, and it's knocked out and sent forward by Dallas Santor. Number 2, which is Dickerson, gets it over to Hansen and defended well. And on the far sideline, running hard, is Meacham. And Meacham pushes it back. It now goes to the center of the field to Graham. Graham sends it forward, and it's cleared back out by Chazy. And it's Dickerson gets the ball to the far sideline onto the feet of Hansen, or Mosier. Mosier now with the ball, sends the ball forward. Heel to, and there's the shot, and it deflects. A heel pass by Hansen over to the feet of DJ Gagno, but Gagno couldn't get the shot off that he wanted.
Yeah, nice little flick there by Riley Hansen. This is the first time, I believe, this season either team has played on a turf field, so the Griffins seem to have adapted quicker than Chazy has, and here's Heath Lucas.
So Lucas with the ball goes to the outside. He gets the feet of Dickerson, or no, Mosier. Mosier on the outside battling, but the ball is won by the Griffins, but Mosier hustles back. Ball picked up by Juno. Juno gives it up to Lucas. Lucas now sends the ball forward, trying to find Dickerson. Dickerson comes in, rips a shot, scores! And number 2, Ben Dickerson, who gets the nod. And he hasn't started many games this year for Chazy, but Coach McCullough felt comfortable putting Ben Dickerson in, and he's rewarded with a goal.
And I'm pretty certain that's his first varsity goal.
Yeah, so you have Ben Dickerson. He's a junior, and he gets the nod. So Coach McCullough had to see some things he liked in practice this past week coming into this game.
And that's a great shot he took off the upright post. There's no chance for the goalkeeper on that, and it was a great lead pass. I want to say it came from Hansen, but really nice. Or was it Moser?
Yeah.
Yeah, Moser got the assist on that.
No, I think they said 10.
10. Sorry, Heath Lucas.
Heath Lucas got the assist. So a nice through ball by Lucas.
By number 2, Ben Dickerson.
So Liberi trying to work his way down, and he's anxious to get something going, and that will go off of Liberi, and it is a goal kick for Chazy. So 32-20 left in the first half. We've only played 7.5 minutes. Chazy is already up 2-0. We knew Chazy had a high-powered offense, and I don't think the Griffins were expecting this offensive output so quickly.
No, and the Chazy defense, we have to give credit to them. They've withstood some early pressure from Boquet Valley, and they're still not out of the game. You know, one goal obviously will make it a one-goal game, but Chazy certainly has the upper hand at this point on the scoreboard, if nothing else.
Well, with 71 minutes left of soccer, there's a lot of soccer left, as we well know.
So, and Chazy has 2 shots on goal and 2 goals, so there you go.
And obviously they're quality shots. And now it's picked up by Dickerson. He goes out to the outside of Mosier. Mosier trying to get around the defense of Meacham. Mosier and Meacham. Meacham wins that battle, but stepping up is Juno. Juno has it taken away by Liberi. And now goes to Mosier. Mosier now sends it across, coming off the line. The goalie does a nice job, and it was a good thing. You had the leading goal scorer, Hansen, and Dickerson, who just, or actually it was DJ Gagno coming in on the weak side. So a good job by the goalie, Brandon Tremblay, to get that ball, and he sends it toward midfield, and the ball is on the feet of Lucas. So Lucas does a nice job. As I've said many times, it's like Velcro on his feet. He goes to the outside of Mosier. Mosier has some nice speed. Now he cuts it across, and again Tremblay comes across. Good thing Dickerson, Hansen, and DJ Gagno were all there if the ball got through, but Tremblay does a nice job, and a nice punt by Tremblay. It goes off the head of Diandarza, and it's cleared out by Connors. Ball sent forward, now cleared back out far side. It is Connors again. Here come the Griffins, and the ball deflects, goes off of the head of Connors, and the shot goes a weak shot, picked up by Gabe Huckrow.
That was Graham, who seems to be their feed man up top, and always looking for the ball on the far side is Blake Liberi. He's always got his hand up when he feels as though he's free, and he'll be the trigger man for this Boquet Valley squad.
So nice punt by Huckrow, ball to the near side, picked up by Lobdell, and the ball was knocked out of bounds by Gagno. So Lobdell with the throw in for the Griffins. Ball goes off the head of Pettit, and the Eagles trying to control. It is Drake. It goes to Gagno, back over to Lucas. Lucas working his way down. Lucas keeps the ball in play. It's Lucas still has the ball in play, controlling, splits the defense through number 2's foot, and it's Lucas still with the ball. He's due to go down any time, Lee. He goes down quite a bit in the game.
And a nice play by Diandarza to get the ball over to Moser.
So the ball works its way to the far sideline and cleared up by Santor. A big kick going toward the net. It goes off of Spilling. Spilling now rips the ball, and it goes off of, or handball must be on Mosier.
I believe so, yeah.
Because he wasn't near the end or the sideline. So we're going to have a handball on Mosier, but deep into the defensive zone of the Griffins. So the players will just set up and wait for the kick to be sent forward.
We know 2 of the 3 officials out there today. The 3rd official, the Southern official, unfortunately, we don't know his name.
His first name's Dave.
His first name's Dave, but yeah, it could be Super Dave. We're not really sure. Jim Schutz and Steve Regan are the other 2 officials out there today.
Again, a seasoned crew, and Dave is from the southern end of the southern board, as Calvin says. So 3-person rotation for the playoffs, and they've been doing that for years with an official and 2 sideline judges. And here comes Lucas trying to split the defense. And Lucas coming in hard. Tremblay sends it out. Good thing he did, but some nice pressure by the Eagles, putting the pressure on Tremblay. But now it's Chazy again trying to get to the ball. It is Hansen. Hansen with his long legs gets it, pushes out to, tried to find Heath Lucas, but Lucas was cutting it to the inside. He went to the outside.
A little miscommunication. I think Heath wanted to take a shot with that one, and Riley touched it too soon. One thing about this field, if you're not familiar with field turf, it's like playing on grass. So all these players have their regular cleats on that they regularly play on grass. It's not like the old-fashioned AstroTurf that's hard as a rock. This is like actually playing on grass. It's really, really nice.
It is really nice. It is Lucas doing a nice job. Lucas keeping the ball away from Graham. Now he goes to the far side onto the feet of Mosier. He pushes up trying to find Dickerson. And Mosier, it's knocked by Mosier, picked up by Bueller. I think it was Bueller, 15 Bueller. But the ball is controlled by Juno. Juno gets it over to Mosier, far sideline, and it is Meacham. Meacham now sends the ball forward. Stepping up is Santor. He heads the ball down on the ground, trying to find Mosier, but it's controlled by the Griffins onto the feet of Bueller. Bueller now sends the ball to the sideline. And here come the Griffins, having a little bit of space. But coming over to help out is Lucas. Lucas now sends the ball forward to Riley Hansen. Hansen tries to do a turn, but a good job defensively by number 18, Lobdell. And the ball sent back into the Chazy defense. So it is now Pettit working his way down to the near sideline. And stepping up is Drake. Drake and Pettit collide, but it goes off of Drake, throw-in for Pettit. And the whistle blows.
Substitution for the Griffins as Gary Negroni coming in for Pettit.
Gary Negroni.
And I'll tell you, the first meeting between these two squads, Gary Negroni was a quality player out there. He stood out for me on the Griffins squad. So Eagles need to watch out for him.
And what were the scores of the first two games?
Chazy won both meetings, and as we've said many times, it's hard for a team to win 3 times in a season against the same squad. Chazy won the first meeting 2-1, and the second meeting 3-1.
So the ball comes to the near sideline, and I think it was 2-1 down at Camp Dudley, and 3-1 in Chazy, if I'm not mistaken. So the ball stays into the Chazy defensive end. It is Graham looking to serve. He pushes it back, trying to find Liberi, and it was taken. Nice play by Connors. Now he sends the ball up, trying to get a counterattack, trying to find Dickerson, and that ball is just cleared out by Spilling. As the speed of Dickerson, that's all he could do to let his defense regroup.
And you have the two Spilling brothers on defense. Gavin is the sweeper, and Lucas is on the outside. So Lucas was the one clearing that off. So, it's tough when we say Spilling because it's hard to keep them straight. But two solid defenders out there for the Griffins.
So with Lucas now cutting inside. So Lucas has the ball knocked away. And it's controlled by Ethan Graham. Graham with the ball, cuts it now toward the inside, toward midfield, cuts it back to the inside, doing a nice job keeping the ball on his feet. Gets to Liberi, and Liberi trying to get around Connors. And it's D'Andarza sends it high in the air. It goes off of the head of Lobdell. And if Chazy is fortunate to get out of this game and make the championship game, they may have an edge over Schroon Lake, who has not played on this turf yet.
No question. Whoever wins this game has a distinct advantage in the championship game because they've obviously had a chance to play on this field, whereas Schroon Lake clearly has not. So there's a nice switch of fields by Riley Hansen looking for Mosier on the far side.
And Mosier has nice speed, and he and Meacham, and that's Devin Meacham, battling for the ball. Ball is serviced inside the box, but it's headed out by Lucas Spilling. And the ball works its way to midfield. Up on the defensive end is Drake. He sends it down the line trying to find Patrick Dwyer, who has checked into the game. And it's Hansen sends the ball across, and it's cleared out. So we have a throw-in for Chazy. And Patrick Dwyer has had some big goals for Chazy this year.
Yeah, Patrick's done fine. I mean, really well for the Eagles. He was a late call-up last year for the playoffs, so he got to experience the whole championship run. 5 goals in the season for Patrick Dwyer. Nice jobs.
And some of them have been big goals. Like I think back to the championship game or against PHS in the Frankie Garrow Memorial.
Absolutely. He stepped up nicely in big situations.
So the ball is controlled by Joey D'Andarza. He goes to the outside to Mosier. Mosier cuts it to the inside. Now he sends it through, trying to get a through ball to Hansen. Hansen with some nice speed. Hansen trying to cut it to the inside. He's defended well by Lobdell. And good defensive play by Lobdell because Hansen, he can finish as he's the leading scorer, and it was defended well.
Entering the game for the Eagles, number 11, Reagan Dudiak.
So Dudiak comes in for Dickerson. It seems like Dudiak and Dickerson are the ones that'll be switching back and forth.
Yeah, and that was the different starting lineup tonight. And it was a smart play by Coach McAuliffe with a big hug to Ben Dickerson after he scores his first varsity goal. He had a hunch and started him, and Ben didn't disappoint him.
And again, that just adds to the aura of Coach McAuliffe, who seems to make the right moves at the right time.
It's one of those things. Sometimes you have that gut feeling, and Coach McAuliffe has those a lot, and a lot more times than not, they come out on the positive side.
So it's Lucas. And, he's with them all week, so he sees what's going on. The ball comes through. Trombley's there. But, he sees these kids in practice, and he just has this feel for them.
Yeah, he sees them in the hallways. He's obviously he's an elementary principal at the school, so he's around. He sees the kids. He knows if they're having a bad week or a good week or whatever the case may be. They had a great touches in practice, that sort of thing. So yeah, you're absolutely right. He has that. He has his finger on the pulse, if you will, of the boys.
And so the ball is controlled by Hansen, but it's knocked away. And I'm impressed so far with the play of Aiden Lobdell so far early on, or in the first half here. He's playing well for the Griffins. He sends a long through ball. He's trying to find Graham. Back there defending is Connors. Graham does a nice move. He gets the shot off. He goes side net, but Graham showed some nice moves there.
Yeah, that young man's done a nice job early on on the right hand side here as a I think he's probably playing an outside halfback position. He could be playing a wing, but he's got the ball on his foot a lot. He makes nice moves, nice cutbacks. He's a tricky player and somebody Chazy needs to pay attention to.
We're approaching the 21-minute mark. Chazy leading the Griffins 2-0. Calvin Castine is on the camera. I'm with Lee Barkham. I'm Joey Trombley. We're bringing you this semifinal action here on the sports complex in Beekmantown, New York, and to the Beekmantown High School. And it's Hansen. Cuts it to the inside. He now goes to the outside. A good job defensively. And Heath Lucas tried to get to the ball, but the ball comes back to Mackenzie Stevens. Stevens now goes outside to Lobdell. Lobdell cuts it to the inside, being guarded by Dwyer. He sends the ball forward, trying to find the feet of Graham. Graham has it knocked away by Dean Darza onto the feet of Heath Lucas. Lucas working his way down the line. Lucas doing a nice job with his footwork. And it is Graham. He goes between Graham's legs. It is Lucas. Now sending the ball through, trying to cut across, and three defenders had to come over, and it was number 18, Lobdell.
Yeah, throw in here for the Eagles as deep as they can be in the territory, and it looks like Dwyer to take this throw in. Be a good opportunity for the Eagles to do a short throw and cross, but it looks like they're going all deep, and here comes Dudiak running over.
But Dwyer will take the throw in inside the box, goes off the head of Juno. Ball knocked back. Drake heads it down. He's trying to get it by Liberi. Graham over to Liberi. The ball sent forward onto the feet of Stevens. Stevens takes it away from Dean Darza. Stevens now sends the ball up, and in stride was Negroni. And like you said, he did a nice job. Defended well by Santor to disrupt the play, and the ball sent forward, a long kick going deep, sending it back to the goalie. And that goes off the end line, a corner kick, and a gift corner kick coming up to the Eagles.
And anybody that's watched Chazy play this season, or last season for that matter, knows whenever you give up a free kick, you're giving up an excellent opportunity, as typically Heath Lucas is on the serving end of that kick.
Well, you got Hansen who's going to hang back. You got Dwyer on the weak side. And what's going to happen is as the ball comes in, these players are going to crash the net. Now they're bringing back Dwyer. McAuliffe calls Dwyer back, but they're going to charge the net, and the ball is headed in the air. Hansen trying to get to it, and it'll be a goal kick. It went off of, I'm not sure what player he's running back now. That might have been Connors.
Yeah, I think it was Tanner
Connors. So it'll be a goal kick for the Griffins.
18:45 remaining here in the first half. Chazy 2-0 lead on goals by Riley Hansen just 29 seconds in, and then Ben Dickerson at the 7-minute and 18-second mark.
So a push on the Eagles. It looks like it was on Mosier. So Beekmantown will get the kick, the free kick. They're about 7 yards short of midfield. This is a much easier field to call the game on than Plattsburgh. I mean, 50 yards is 50 yards.
Yeah.
Calvin says no.
No, it's the goals in back of the.
No, I know that, but it just the way the lines are here and stuff, it's just a much easier game to follow. So there's a shot to the top of the box, and the ball is cleared out, trying to find Dudiak. Dudiak has some nice speed. Dudiak just running through, and it's now controlled by the Griffins. The ball sent forward off of the head far side of Santor. Ball pushed back. Hansen trying to defend. Hansen with the ball. And it is Lucas sends it to the near sideline trying to find Dwyer. The ball kind of spins back, goes onto the feet of Stevens. Stevens pushes the ball back trying to find Oakley Bueller, but it's now cleared out by Dwyer. A big kick into the defensive end. Here comes Dudiak with some nice speed, putting some pressure on. It's Dudiak, and the ball is sent forward, but Dudiak forced that kick from Lucas spilling to knock it out of bounds.
Yeah, that speed and pressure that he applied gave Chazy the opportunity to have a throw-in in the deep in the Boquet Valley territory. Looks like we're going to have Dwyer take the throw-in.
So the ball comes into play, controlled by the Griffins, and it's Stevens knocks it off of Dwyer, throwing for the Griffins.
16 and a half minutes remaining here, and we'll talk a little bit more about the Griffins. So substitution for the Griffins as Jamison Figo comes in. He's a 10th grader here for the Griffins. They have a couple of seniors, four or five seniors. Their captains, Liberia is their captain senior, and so when he graduates, that'll be a big loss for the program.
So it's Mosier trying to cut it to the inside. He's trying to get it around the defense, trying to get it around Devin Meacham. He sends the ball across. Hansen turns, rips the shot, scores! And I think Trombley was screened on that shot, but Hansen has the eye to finish, and he just turned and ripped it.
I just think he may not have been ready for that shot. I don't think he expected the speed to come around that quickly.
Yeah, and I think that was part of it. There was a little bit of everything.
19 goals, 18 assists.
So the assist goes to Luke Mosier. So Mosier gets the assist, and Hansen knew where he was, and he knew he just had to get control.
19, Riley Hansen, assisted by number 18, Luke Moser.
So at the 16:01 mark, Chazy extends the lead to 3-0.
Yeah, and we're getting to a territory here where Boquet Valley doesn't want to be, and that's being down by more than 2 against the two-time defending state champion Chazy squad.
So Dwyer sends the ball forward, and coming into this season, Lee, we didn't really know what to expect with this Chazy team replacing 8 starters.
Yeah, it was one of those things you're apprehensive about how they're going to do. You have some really quality players in Heath Lucas and
Here comes
Riley
Dwyer.
Hansen and Tanner Connors all returning. Those were 3 starters that returned, but everybody else basically was new. Gabe Huckrow had a couple. He got a sniff last year. Some games in the goal. Coach McAuliffe was wise to do that, to give him a little taste of the action, even though he had a perennial all-star in Ben Norcross as his regular goalie. But you're right. And here they are, 16-0-1 in the sectional semifinals. They've really put together a very quality season.
Well, and Lee, we saw them in the friendly against Northeastern Clinton. They were still trying to find themselves, it seemed like, and then they went to the Frankie Garrow Memorial like a few days later, and I don't know if it was having your uniforms on and playing on the George Brendler Field under the lights, but you saw them starting to come together during those 2 games.
Yeah, they started at that point to finally gel a little bit, and then mid-season is where Coach McAuliffe hopes that they're going to gel completely, and they're at that point now. They haven't quite peaked yet, I don't think. But they're awful close, and this is the time of season, obviously, that you want that to happen.
Yeah, and as we've watched the games through the year, you can see them getting more and more comfortable in their positions. And the ball comes back through. Hansen, he wanted to turn and rip it, but a nice job defensively by number 9, Lucas Spilling. He sends the ball up. It goes off of Dwyer. So we're under 14 minutes left in the first half. And it's the Eagles of Chazy in the semifinal game, leading 3-0 over their arch rival, the Griffins. And the winner moves on to the championship game this coming Saturday, the 2nd of November, here in Beekmantown at the Sports Complex. And they will take on Scroon Lake, who won a 4-3 game today. And who was their opponent?
Keene. They played Keene, who was a number 6 seed. They surprised the number 3 seed Crown Point in overtime, actually a penalty shootout, to earn that semifinal bid.
And they were up 2-0 against Scroon Lake.
Yeah, 2-0. I think it was, the report was correct. Keene was up 2-0 10 minutes in.
Wow. So that tells you what Scroon Lake has to come back and to to make it to the championship game?
They have three really. Probably have the best athlete in the northern area in the MVAC, if you want to call it, or Northern Soccer League. And that's Andrew Pelkey. He could very well be a three-sport MVP. He likely will be the Division III MVP in soccer. He was baseball's MVP, shared that with Ben Norcross, and he was basketball MVP last year. So, superior athlete. It's just the surrounding cast that he needs to have to make things work.
And of course, there is some similarities because Schroon Lake did play the Griffins this year.
They did. As a matter of fact, it was just before the seeding meeting for the sectional tournament, and Schroon Lake beat them 5-2.
So, and we were talking before, not so much tonight, but a few days ago. Usually, a Griffin Eagle matchup is usually the sectional championship. So the seedings were a little different this year.
Seedings were different. You had two of the three top seeds were from Division III, which is a rarity. And I know there was likely some upset feelings perhaps between the other squads, namely Boquet Valley and Willsboro, because they wound up playing each other in a quarterfinal matchup, which are two quality squads. And then now you're having another quality squad play against Chazy here in the semifinals. So certainly unlikely to happen probably again in the near future.
So right now it's Chazy with a 3-0 lead with 11:33 left in the first half. The ball is sent forward onto the feet of Liberi. Liberi working his way down, does a little crossover. And he'll send it across onto the feet of Stevens. Stevens trying to set up. Defensively, Chazy's there with Dean Darza. He gets the ball to Dwyer. Dwyer sends the ball up. He's trying to find Hanson. Hanson with some nice speed. May get a breakaway here, but defended well by number 9, Lucas Spilling. And they're stopping the clock, and it looks like they're going to get him a yellow card. And a yellow card on Hanson. Hanson, he was one step away from breaking in on a breakaway, and great defensive job by Lucas Spilling. So ready to check back into the game is Ben Dickerson, as well as number 2, Caleb Pettit.
Entering the game for the Griffins, number 2, Caleb Pettit.
And Negroni's coming off for the Griffins.
Ben Dickerson.
Well, Dickerson was waiting to come in anyhow, but he has to, because of the yellow card, Hanson has to come off. So that was the substitution there. I assume Dickerson was kind of come for Dudiak.
And they want to redo that again.
So the yellow card significance of that is obviously it's a caution. You earn 2 yellow cards in a game, that turns into a red card, and you are out of the game at that point. And
you miss the next game.
And you miss the next game, and the team plays short one player the remainder of this game. So something that Riley Hanson will just have to keep in the back of his mind. Take no more chances going forward in this game once he gets back in the game.
Well, I'm sure Coach McAuliffe is going to say to him, we got a 3-0 lead, don't do anything. That will not make you play on Saturday.
Exactly, yeah. You want to play safe. You don't want to not play hard, but you want to make the safe plays.
Right. And checking into the game is DJ Gagno. And we have a corner kick coming up for the Griffins. They look like they were setting up for a short corner kick. I wonder where they got that idea from. And but it looks like it's going to be more traditional now. The ball comes across, and it's knocked outside the 18, pushed back, and there's going to be a shot from distance that deflects off the Chazy defense, and Lucas sends it to the outside, and he's more than happy to send it out of bounds on the sideline, where Devin Meacham will take the throw-in and give a chance for his team to set up defensively. Ball comes in. Santor heads the ball down, trying to find who was that out there? Was that Reagan?
Dickerson.
No, number 11 for
11,
Chazy.
yeah, that's Dudiak.
That was Dudiak. Reagan Dudiak. So the ball goes out of bounds. It goes off of the Griffins, so throw in for Chazy. It is going to be Drake, but coming into the game is DJ. And Hanson's back in the game.
Yeah, so Hanson and Gagno in, and Dudiak coming out, and also Patrick Dwyer. 9.5 minutes to go here in first half. Chazy 3-0 lead.
And the ball is in play, and Liberi takes a... Was it Liberi just rips a shot off the end line. So a goal kick coming up for Chazy, and I'm sure there's a sense of frustration for the Griffins right now.
Well, no question. You know, this is disappointing. Certainly to give up that very first goal on an error, and then having to work hard to try to get back into it and just not being able to do so. It certainly is frustrating. It's going to be an interesting talk at halftime for Coach Evan George to see what he can do to rally the troops.
You know, coming in. Oh, and here we go again. Here is Hansen, and Hansen cuts it to the inside, shoots, scores, and Riley Hansen is just spot on tonight. He gets the opportunity, and he's picking his spots, Lee, and he's just drilling them in the net.
So there's the hat trick goal for Hansen here in the first half with 8 minutes and 50 seconds remaining, and Chazy's opened a nearly insurmountable 4-0 lead.
And Hansen comes into this game with 21 goals and 10 assists, and he picks up 3 more.
And
19 goal, 2 assists.
so the assist goes to Ben Dickerson.
Yeah, so Dickerson's having a heck of a game for his first starting nod, and it's in the semifinals. And coming into this game, Lee, my first thought was, you play all year for home field advantage, and you lose it because of bad field conditions. But by the same token, a bigger, newer field, I also think favored Chazy coming into this game.
Well, it favors their game certainly, which is short passing, in the skill game and speed. Not to discredit Boquet Valley, but that's what Chazy plays. That's how they play their game. And this type of field really leans to that.
So obviously Chazy hasn't missed a beat playing on the George Brendler field. I do have to admit, I kind of felt bad for the boys because their last game there, they didn't realize it was their last game. The seniors especially on the George Brendler field.
And the same for the girls squad who wound up
Yes.
playing at Plattsburgh State last night. So their career ended at George Brendler Field
In
one
the
game sooner than they
quarterfinals.
wanted to. Yeah.
Yes. And so the ball bounces in. Trombley comes up off the line, and he'll work his way to the 18, and he sends the punt shy of midfield. Ball headed forward, and every time you look at when Chazy passes or heads, it's always with a purpose.
Yeah, and that's some of the stuff that Coach McAuliffe drills into his players, and these guys play pretty much year round, whether it's indoor soccer or outdoor, and the fundamentals and the basics are always drilled in.
So the ball is cleared out. Stepping up is Juno, and I think that hit the official, but it goes to the far sideline. Back there is Santor. He chips it up. Dudiak is coming in hard, but off the line is Trombley. So, there's only 7 shots on net for Chazy, and they capitalized on 4, but Riley Hansen's been shooting darts.
Yeah, and can you fault Brandon Trombley maybe on one of the goals? I don't know. I didn't see the first one, so I don't know on that, but the one where Hansen turned and shot, it looked like he wasn't ready for that. But again, it was in the corner. It just past him.
So nice job by Dudiak to give the ball up to Gagno. Gagno rips it, but it goes off of Lucas Spilling, so throw in for Chazy. And it's going to be Gagno. He goes down the line trying to find Dudiak. That goes off of the head of Lobdell. So Chazy moves the chains, if you will. If you're talking football, they move it probably about 5 or 6 yards. And Gagno will take the throw in for Chazy. Ball comes in, bounces around, hit high in the air, and it is Lucas. Does a nice job trapping it with his foot. Then he takes a shot from distance, hits the wall of the defense of the Griffins, and now it comes to the near sideline onto the feet of Pettit. Pettit working his way down, defended by Drake. Drake knocks it off of Pettit. Juno's there. He keeps it simple onto the feet of Gagno. Gagno can't control it. Throw-in coming up for the Griffins at the 5:52 mark.
So the Griffins want to try to get a goal here, obviously before the end of the half, to kind of turn the tables a little bit and give them a little bit of momentum going into the second half. That would be the best play of action right now for Coach Evan George and his squad.
On the feet of Dudiak. Dudiak does a nice job getting the ball up over Dickerson. Dickerson goes back trying to find Dudiak. Dudiak with speed trying to break that defense, pushes it back to Dickerson. Dickerson now goes to the near sideline up over to Gagno. Dickerson, his first start, having a heck of a first start. Still in the first half, already has 3 points with a goal and an assist. Ball at midfield bounces by Joey D. and Darza onto the feet of Liberi. Liberi working his way down, being guarded by Connors, and that's Tanner Connors. Liberia does a nice job. Connors does a nice job. And a foul called on Chazy. So this is a great opportunity for the Griffins to get one back.
Just like we were talking about, this is a dangerous spot. So you're looking at about 25 yards, and it's going to be their sniper, Blake Liberia, looking to take this shot. 3-man wall for the Eagle, 4-man wall for the Eagles here, right at the top of the 18.
Senior captain is going for a goal. I don't see it any other way right now. I don't see a set play. He is going to rip it. And he does. And I won't say it was a rip, but he tried to pick a corner.
Yeah.
And Hucker was right there.
Yeah, I think he wanted to go corner, but he didn't get far enough in the corner, and Gabe didn't have to move much. He didn't have to hardly jump for it, just extended his arms and was able to bring that in.
Well, and a tough shot for Liberia when you want to go for the upper corners. Hucker's a tall goalie.
He's tall, and when you're going to try to do that shot, you need to hit it with pace, and he didn't really hit that with pace.
So it is Lobdell, Aiden Lobdell, loses the ball as we approach the 4-minute mark left in the first half. And Lee, with 4 minutes left, let's make an appeal for a donation to Hometown Cable. We're very fortunate that Calvin Castine is here carrying this game, as he's been doing for 36 years, generations of film. And if you'd like to make a donation because you enjoy this programming, and there's the shot by Gagno, send a check to 1477 Ridge Road, Champlain, New York, 12919. And, of course, you can also go online.
Yeah, hometowncablenetwork.com. You can pay via PayPal there, send your donation in. Calvin's got most of his programming on his YouTube channel now, so you can search through that if you don't want to go through the Hometown Cable Network. Lots of incredible programming for you to look at, historical, any kind of educational, anything that of interest to the public. Calvin is typically and has typically been there, and so really it's a treasure trove of really cool stuff to look for.
And if you like to support quality television, Hometown Cable is definitely a station to support. And it's a corner kick coming up for Heath Lucas here on the near sideline, looking to extend this lead. He sends the ball across, and it's headed out. And Lucas gets the shot. It deflects. Gagno rips a shot. And that's going to be another corner kick. They got plenty of time with 2:34 to go.
And I should mention our latest viewer supporter, a guy named Joseph Coulomb.
JL Cool.
Yes, he's sent in his contribution today.
You might hear him on the airwaves that he's not been banned for life back in the early 1990s. So
He's still banned. He's still banned. Yes.
he can't buy back his can't buy the ban. So yeah, Joe is an outstanding supporter of all things philanthropic. So Joe is a good guy.
No, Joe, we're very fortunate to know Joe Coulomb, and that he's an Chazy alumni, and he loves his Eagles.
Absolutely, no question about that, and his Nationals. So go Nats tonight.
Well, he's like Calvin. He's a traditional Expo fan, like most of us from this area are. And but Calvin's not rooting for the Nationals. It's just not the same. So he's one of that weird breed of Expo fans.
I'd say I would say 50-50, but I think it's more like probably 70-30 and with the mindset that Calvin has. A lot of Expos fans haven't accepted the Nationals as the continuation of the franchise, if you will.
And I would say I'm one of them, other than that the Nationals are in the World Series, so I have to root for them. Calvin says, I don't. Calvin goes, the Yankees are done. I can't follow baseball right now.
You want the team that beat you to win it. And the Astros
Well,
beat the
right
Yankees.
now, I mean, I hope it goes another day, because right now the Red Sox are still the defending World Series champions, hence why I got my shirt on here in this press box. Because that could end in about 5 hours, that they will be the former World Series champions. So Heath Lucas is going to try to get a shot off, and look at this, he's going to load up. And a nice job defensively by Gavin Spelling.
Oh, they're not the defending champions.
Who are not? The Red Sox?
No, they're done. They're not defending anything right now.
Well, they are the current world champions. How's that?
Okay.
They are the current world champions. Coming to an end soon. To a day near you.
20 seconds left in this first half, as this half has gone by quickly, and here is Liberia trying to put a ball in the net to finish this half, but Chazy's not going to allow that to happen.
No. So this first half is going to come to a close. with Chazy leading 4-0. And Library trying to get a shot off. He does. And the first half has officially come to an end. It's Chazy 4, the Griffins 0. And we're starting the second half, and I think it's safe to say, Lee, the first half was somewhat of a surprise.
We were off camera, of course. We were talking about that, and I said, "Boy, I didn't expect this to be the halftime score. Usually, you're talking a one goal game between these squads at halftime, and for Chazy to hold a 4-0 lead, that's big, and that's a huge mountain to climb for the Griffins."
And we talked about with Hanson having a hat trick. How long will Coach McAuliffe keep him in? Because obviously you're playing to, at least at this point, you're thinking you're going to make it to Saturday's championship game, and you want to make sure your top guns aren't hurt.
The magic number traditionally for Coach McAuliffe is 5-goal lead. And once that 5-goal lead happens, you'll see a lot more substitutions. And so I would expect to see Riley Hanson play maybe 10 minutes here this second half, and then at that point in time, you certainly could start to see him ride on the bench a little bit, and that's also taking into consideration the fact that he has a yellow card.
Right, and he's got to be careful about that. And there's a shot ripped wide by Heath Lucas.
And thanks to Ryan Lucy, we now know the other Southern Board official. It's David Lee.
David Lee.
It's a name I hear every year, but I only hear it this time of the year. So.
So now we're giving the official David Lee his due. And with Reagan and Schutz. And, Lee, we're very fortunate. We have a senior group of officials who've been doing this a long time, and they do a really nice job.
They do an excellent job. It's certainly not an easy job. You're under the microscope, and no matter what you call is wrong for one side of the fan base. So there's a strike to the face. It looked like Hanson took, so it's going to be a direct kick for Chazy, 45 yards out. And you might think that's a long way, but really for Heath Lucas, prepare yourself, because Mr. Trombley might see a shot toward goal.
And the players will be crashing. Hanson's at right outside the 18, and when that ball is touched, they're going to be crashing. And there they go. And coming off his line was Trombley. He called it, and he got to the ball. And the punt comes up. That will go off the head of Santor. Going back is Drake, but here comes Liberi with good speed and foot skill. Drake trying to control. There's the shot. It goes wide. And we have a goal kick for Chazy. Liberi would like to have that. Instead of turning the ball in, it kind of went away from the net.
Yeah, I think he was trying to shoot, but I think he was hoping also that Oakley Bueller would continue his run to far post. And had he done that, he maybe would have gotten a toe on the ball.
So Huckrow will take the goal kick, and the ball comes up and toward midfield, controlled by Lobdell. And Lobdell did a nice job back there for the Griffins in the first half. And the ball goes onto the feet of Devin Meacham. He sends it forward, goes off the head of Santor. Ball is on the near sideline. Santor sends it forward and controlled by Gavin Spilling. He has it knocked away. Coming over to defend and take the ball away was Lucas Spilling. He gives it up over to Gavin Spilling. And taken by Hanson. Hanson now goes down the near sideline. Hustling for the ball is Dickerson, who has a goal and assist, as well as Mosier. Mosier looking to stick him. Mosier takes the ball away, pushes it back up over to Hanson. He now goes to the near sideline, and no one goes to the ball for Chazy. Back there is the Griffins' number 13, Devin Meacham, lets it go out of bounds. He takes the throw in. Coming down the line, Juno lets it go by him to Santor. Santor gets it up over to Hanson. Hanson over to Lucas. It's the Lucas Hanson show. Lucas over to Hanson, and knocked away by Spilling, Lucas Spilling, but controlled by Heath Lucas. Lucas will now chip it up to the outside, trying to find Mosier, and the ball is knocked in the air by Matt Pribble. Out of bounds, throw in for Chazy.
So Pribble didn't play in the first meeting, and that's the only one I didn't see the meeting that Chazy had at Camp Dudley, but he put a couple goals in the net midway through the season, so he was a welcome addition. He's a tall player, looks like he plays a holding midfield position here for Boquet Valley, and he's been instrumental tonight in kind of keeping tabs on Heath Lucas.
So the ball is on the outside, and the Griffins cannot keep it in play, so throw in for Chazy. Ball comes in by Drake, and it works off of Gagno, so throw in for the Griffins. Ball working its way the other way off the head of Darza. He heads it to the ground, but it's controlled by Santor. He sends it forward onto the feet of Dickerson. Dickerson tried to go to the far side over to Hansen. Ball knocked away, and it's picked up by number 4, Mackenzie Stevens. He gives the ball up over to Spilling, and that was Gavin Spilling, but it's cleared out by Darza. So running back defensively to get to the ball was number 13, Devin Meacham. Meacham has it taken away by Dickerson. Dickerson takes the shot, rips it off the defense, throw in for Chazy. So again, the speed of Dickerson to pickpocket that ball.
Yeah, he blocked the clearing attempt and then went down the right side, tried himself to cross, but Griffin's player blocked his crossing attempt. Now here is Hansen, top of the 18.
So Hansen will cut it to the inside, and he does not get the shot off that he wanted. That goes off the end line. So it'll be a goal kick for the Griffins, but it kills some time off the clock.
Yeah, and that's the name of the game now, second half. Chazy's happy to protect their lead they have and just keep the Griffins off the scoreboard. Don't want to give them any form of momentum whatsoever here in the second half.
So I see the shots on net favor Chazy 11-2. What's the other number I'm seeing to the right of that?
The 2 is second half.
Second half, okay. So shots favor Chazy 11-2. And they lead on the scoreboard 4-0. And Mosier trying to keep the ball in, but it goes off the sideline. Throw in for the Griffins. And checking into the game is Caleb Pettit.
Entering the game for the Griffins, number 2, Caleb Pettit.
He's taken off Oakley Bueller, son of Paul Bueller, longtime athletic director, former varsity boys coach. This year filling in as the varsity girls coach, as their regular coach is out on maternity leave.
And Paul Bueller did a wonderful job when he did coach for the boys. And, in some aspects, you kind of felt for Coach Bueller because he had some teams that, if it wasn't because of Chazy, could have easily made the Final Four.
Yeah, and, he's one of the last coaches to defeat Chazy, in sectional play.
Yeah, that was back in 06. It was at Plattsburgh High School. Chazy was coming off a 56-game winning streak. And they end up losing that game 2-1. And matter of fact, the Griffins had an injury to one of their better players, and who back then you went to Section 2, 10, and 7, who kind of rotated, and the Griffins won that game, and I can't think of the guy's name right off. It will come to me, but he got injured and he wasn't there for the regional game against the Colton Pierpont team, and if he would have been on there, they would have won that game. There is no doubt about that.
Colton Pierpont went on to win the state championship.
And they won the state championship that year. So the ball is on the far side, and a through ball. Dickerson trying to get to it. Up is Gagno. Gagno has it knocked away. Back is Laudel, and he goes to the sideline, does a nice job keeping the ball in play, finding his teammate on the far sideline. But here come the Eagles, here comes Lucas, and Lucas goes down. Ball goes off the end line, corner kick coming up for Chazy. The one thing I'll say, when Lucas goes down now, that is a really soft turf out there.
It's a little easier on the body, but he's taken his fair share of bumps and bruises this season. And as certainly after 17 games, and this is the 18th game they've played, his body's going to need some rest at the end of the season, and it's not going to get any easier going forward.
No, and we always jokingly take bets over and under how many times he's going to go down in the game, and the ball is fed inside the box. Darza gets the header. Trombley stood his ground, does a nice job, and he does a quick throw out, trying to find LeBerry, and LeBerry working his way down the sideline with some nice speed. Ball on his feet. It's LeBerry working his way down, coming over to defend is Connors. Connors staying on LeBerry. LeBerry looking to try to get a shot off. He does. It deflects off of Juno. Lucas trying to control, and there's a shot, hits the wall of the Chazy defense, and LeBerry heads the ball up toward the 18. And there's an opportunity, and knocked away by Drake as number 8, Ethan Graham, was trying to get his foot off to get a shot off, but defended well by Drake.
Dangerous opportunity there for the Griffins, and Ethan Graham winds up going down inside the 18-yard box. Some calls for a penalty kick. from the Griffin faithful, but the officials kept the flags down. No penalty awarded.
So the ball to the far side. It is Ethan Graham with the corner kick for the Griffins, and they're looking to draw first blood in the second half as they trail 4-0. And there's a nice feed. But Huckrow, being the tall goal he is, and Huckrow looks very natural. He has a good set of hands, and when he gets his hands on that ball, it's going nowhere.
He's a very technical goalkeeper. He's highly skilled. He has good foot skills, so if he gets in a situation where he needs to use his feet as opposed to his hands, he can do that too. Just a top-notch goalkeeper here for Chazy.
And Hansen was taken from behind. It was just, an innocent play. It's just a collision, but it goes against the Griffins. So Chazy will get a free kick at midfield, and of course, no surprise, it's Heath Lucas taking the kick for Chazy. We're under 30 minutes here left in the second half. Chazy, all 4 of their goals came in the first half, and of course, the first goal came like 29 seconds in on a deflection mistake on the Griffins' part, and that set the tone. And it is Lucas, big kick, and that goes off the head, and it's going to be a corner kick. And Riley Hansen was there and was defended well, but unfortunately it went off the end line, so a corner kick for Chazy.
And again, he wasn't fighting terribly hard for it, but here's where you need to watch Riley Hansen on these corner kicks. He's often going to be the target. He, along with Tanner Connors, who's standing on top of the 18.
Well, they're going to do a short kick, and it is a short kick. And Hansen now sends it across, trying to go weak side, but it's too far. Coming on the weak side for Chazy was Tanner Connors. That goes over his head. He does a nice job to hustle to keep the ball in play. He now sends it forward inside the box, and that will work its way off the end line. So we have another corner kick coming up. Oh, and they said no, it's off Chazy, so we have a goal kick.
I'm curious if the official.
It might have been a foul.
If it was a foul, it would have been obstruction, I guess. But he was certainly within playing distance of the ball. Maybe he just, I don't know.
Well, the ball comes forward. It's in play, headed by Lucas, trying to find Hansen.
It was off the arm.
And Juno now knocks the ball, but he also knocks the player down too. And so the Griffins will get the call as number 4, Mackenzie Stevens, goes down to the ground, but he gets up fairly quickly. And the players will now move forward toward the Chazy net, offensively and defensively. Everybody's there except Lucas Spilling, who's taken the kick. He sends it forward. It goes off of the head of Pettit. And it's now knocked out of bounds by Colby Drake. So a deep throw-in for the Griffins, far side, with 27-23 left in the second half. Oh, the ball's in play. He gets by Ethan Graham. Graham tries to cut it toward inside, but it goes on to the feet of Spilling. So the Griffins trying to turn to get a shot off. Chazy defending well. Ball headed by Dean Darza up to head off of Dickerson. Goes to Liberi. Liberi has it knocked away by Hansen. Hansen trying to get by Liberi. It's knocked away, picked up by Lucas. Lucas now sends a long ball forward. And hustling is Mosher. Nice job defensively by Devin Meacham. But coming over to help out is Hansen. Hansen knocks it away. It's Hansen with the ball. Stops. Now goes forward. Meacham defending. Meacham takes it away. A little too far. And it's Lucas and Meacham go down. And Lucas is called for the foul as Meacham goes down.
Yeah, I think Heath tried to draw the foul there. The official was wise to that and gave the foul to the Griffins. So 26 minutes remaining here in the second half and a 4-0 lead for the Eagles.
And so we have Devin Meacham. Nice kick just outside the box, knocked away by Tanner Connors. The ball sent back, and it's on to the feet of Pettit. Pettit trying to keep the ball in. Plenty of room. Sends it back to Lobdell. Lobdell cuts it to the inside. Now he keeps it simple over to Spilling. And that's Gavin Spilling. So some nice ball movement by the Griffins, but now it's cleared out by Luke Mosier. And he just sends it up the field. It'll work its way off the sideline. So a throw in for the Griffins. And Chazy's doing what it has to do with a 4-0 lead. They aren't getting anything fancy. They're just playing sound soccer right now.
Exactly. And the goal is to keep the Griffins off the scoreboard.
So the ball is sent forward, and Hanson trying to split the defense, but a nice job by number 9, Lucas Spilling, who's been guarding Hanson. And you may say, well, Hanson's got 3 goals. Well, that is true, but it's been nice defensive work by Lucas Spilling. And speaking of the young man, it's Lucas Spilling with the ball now. He sends the ball forward, gets by Santor, but Tanner Connors is there. He doesn't panic, gets it up over to Heath Lucas. Lucas does a nice move to get by Pribble. That's Matt Pribble. Coming over to take the ball away was Liberi. And it is Hanson battling for the ball. Hanson working his way forward. He will now just come to the near sideline, trying to find Mosier. Mosier controlling. Outside of his foot onto the feet of Dickerson. Dickerson cuts it to the inside, back over to Mosier. Mosier now sends it forward onto DJ Gagno. Gagno back to Mosier. Mosier trying to get a shot off, and it's ball shot by DJ Gagno goes off the end line. So some nice work by the Eagles, but nothing to show for it.
Good work by the youngsters out there, a freshman and a couple of sophomores. And Gagno wound up taking a shot toward the goal with a left foot. Certainly not his favored foot, and so that's why it went off the end line.
So the ball, a nice kick by the goal kick by the Griffins into the defensive zone of Chazy, and it is Dean Darza trying to find DJ Gagno, but Lobdell does a nice job taking it down the sideline, trying to find the streaking Ethan Graham, but it goes off the sideline, throw in for Chazy, and we have substitutions. So we have Mr. Dwyer coming back into the game.
Yeah, Patrick Dwyer coming in, and he'll be taking off Gagno. And we're approaching that magical 20-minute mark where we may see more substitutions come off the Chazy bench.
And that is about the MO of Coach McCall. But will he stick to that with it being a playoff game, semifinal game? Like you say, he probably feel a little more comfortable with that one extra goal.
Yeah, it's in the likelihood, and the players know this, and the fans and the parents know this, the likelihood of a reserve player getting on the field as you get deeper in the playoffs really diminishes. Every goal makes a big difference. As you know, we hate to relive the moments of the opportunity that Chazy had to win a state championship that they lost in the last few minutes, being a couple goals up, but certainly don't want to take a chance of that happening ever again.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about Hamilton back in 2008, and it was Chazy with a 3-0 lead with 20 minutes left. But I will say at that game, Hamilton overall was probably the better team overall. We capitalized on the opportunities we had. Hamilton was a senior-laden team that and they played like they were, and it was an incredible comeback. I mean, you got to tip your hat off to Hamilton, but it's just one of those games that even all these years later, 11 years later, you think back of it and you go, what could have been?
Yeah, the burn will never go away.
No.
It's just one of those things that will always be in the heart of any Chazy soccer fan, the what could have been situation, and now Hamilton plays in a Class C.
And it just goes to show you how difficult it is to win a state championship. And Chazy has 9 of them, but it hasn't been easy, and they've had their matches down there, and for the most part, most of those games could be called classics.
Yeah, blood, sweat, and tears, literally, in a lot of cases, for these young men as they put their everything they've got into these games to come away with the ultimate prize of the state championship.
As when we were lined up, and it was actually a really nice sight to see everybody standing and lined up for the national anthem. And I was just thinking why the national anthem was being played, that on both teams, they're all thinking of the big picture of making the Final Four, making it to the state championship game. And, it's a dream for all these teams. And I'm thinking about other teams in other sections who are doing what we're doing right now. They're all playing for the opportunity to make it to the Final Four.
Exactly, and just a real feel-good moment here as former interim superintendent Mark Besson is here to watch his Eagles play against the Boquet Valley Griffins, and that's a real nice show of support from Mr. Besson, as he's not a local person. He lives down in the Glens Falls area, I believe.
Well, that is true, but what you probably don't know is that Mr. Besson, who went back into retirement, was called back out of retirement,
Oh, no.
and he's a principal in Elizabethtown. He's a Griffin principal right now.
Well, goodness, I did not know that.
So he spent better than one half with the folks from Boquet Valley, and he came over to the Chazy side, so he's being very political.
Well, I'll
right
be
now.
dipped. I didn't know that. Well, we have a lot of politicians here tonight.
Oh, yeah.
So he fits that bill for sure.
Sure, and at halftime we had Mark Henry running for Area 3, shaking hands and kissing babies here.
Yep, and then of course the man on the camera, the legend, the myth himself, Calvin Castine, Area
Cast-
1.
Area 1. And so we had one current legislator, another wannabe legislator, who we'll find out soon enough in
A week.
In a week. It is a week, isn't it?
Yeah,
Wow. So a week from tonight.
that's correct.
Wow. So by 9 o'clock, Calvin, you will know.
No, not at 9.
Okay, 9:30. So we are under 20 minutes, Lee. No score in the second half by either team. And I'm thinking Rob has his team playing more defensive here the second half. They don't seem as... I don't see the intensity offensively to push the ball forward.
No, it's not as much pressure to score. It's more keep them off the board. Work on your defensive shape. Make sure that you contain. And if you can take a few seconds off the clock, take them off the clock.
And so the ball comes into play, and it's Dean Darza. Takes it off his chest and one-times it up the field. And Lucas Spilling, who's played a good job defensively, sends the ball to Devin Meacham, and he sends it forward. And it's Tanner Connors sends the ball forward, but Spilling sends it back. That's Gavin Spilling. Goes off the head of Juno, trying to find Mosier, but it's controlled by Oakley Bueller. He sends it back onto the feet of Devin Meacham, who sends it forward off the Chazy defense. So a throw-in deep into Chazy territory. That is Devin Meacham with the throw-in. It goes just outside the 18. And the ball is taken by Dudiak, Regan Dudiak, with some speed. Gets too far ahead of him. And a nice job by Lucas Spilling to take it to the outside. And he'll send the ball forward, and it will work its way off the end line. But a nice job defensively by Lucas Spilling.
And good opportunity there for Mr. Dudiak as he took off running. And if he had a couple extra steps, he would have been off to the races. But that would have been a 60, 70-yard run for him. I'd have run out of gas by about 10 yards.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I might even guess 5. But that's what youth will do for you. And a nice play by Liberia to spin around. And Liberia looking to get the shot off. And he's taken down. And they're going to blow the whistle. And it is going to be a corner kick. They said no foul. So corner kick coming up for the Griffins. And this is their second or third corner kick in the second half.
And like we always say, the more times you give up these corner kick opportunities, the less likely you are to stop them. So eventually they're going to get it right, and Chazy could pay the penalty.
So taking the shot, it is going to be Oakley Bueller. He sends it across, and the ball is headed out by Mosier. Mosier collides, and he just sends it back out, and they are calling...
Direct kick? Direct kick just outside the side of the 18.
So now, now it was inside the box, obviously. No, it was outside the box.
Yeah,
Okay.
you see that very
yes,
thin
there
red
it
black
is.
line
Okay,
there.
there you are. So it's going to be Oakley Bueller. Basically a short corner kick. Sends it across, and it's cleared out, and he'd love to have that back again. The ball is cleared out, and hustling back for the Griffins is Devin Meacham. And it's Heath Lucas now cuts it to the inside. Lucas with some space stops, and he is taken down to look at the free kick. Call win against Gavin Spilling.
Looking at a quick restart, but he was 2-3 yards ahead of where the official wanted the ball reset.
So Lee, the winner of this game, moves on to the championship game Saturday, and they'll be taking on the...
Schroon Lake Wildcats out of the Division III champion, the number 2 seed here in the Section 7 sectionals.
And if Chazy will go in, you know that Schroon Lake is looking for that opportunity. They have something to prove. They were a top team down in Division III, and they'd like to have their say.
Number one job for them is to do what the Griffins weren't able to do, is that keep Chazy off the board in the first 5 minutes of the game.
And as we said earlier in the first half, if you haven't seen the first half, there's definitely an advantage to the Eagles having the game here because they played tonight their first time on this new turf, And Schroon Lake has not had that opportunity.
No, Schroon Lake, as far as I'm aware, there's no turf in the southern region where they would be playing. So they would have to make a trip even to practice on turf, to the best of my knowledge, so they have to either go south or come north to practice. And you would think they'd want to get some touches on this faster surface.
And I don't know if Chazy's played on a turf field yet this year, have they?
No, this is the first time. Maybe Ticonderoga has turf. I don't know. Do you know, Cal?
No.
That might be a possibility because they have football down there. So I don't know if Ty has turf. If they do, that might be an opportunity for them closer to home.
But Chazy didn't play Ticonderoga?
No. The girls only play Ty. The boys have football, so they don't have a
Right.
team. But the girls team, but they could practice there.
The
possibly.
girls, right. But I mean, the boys have, I don't think they played on a turf
Oh
field
no,
yet
they
this year.
definitely have not.
Okay. So the ball is sent forward. Tanner Connors does a nice job. And Lee, as this year has progressed, you feel real comfortable with that defense back there. I know we did lose a major injury.
Yeah, the calming influence is Tanner Connors. He's matured incredibly from last year into that position where even though he's been thrust into this spot, and here's a good opportunity for Dwyer, excuse me. And he rifles that wide. So he's thrust into this sweeper position, which last year, if you recall, he was moved to the stopper position late in the season and thrived there as well. So he started in the stopper this year, moved to sweeper, and Joey D'Andarza has gone from an offensive threat now to manning the middle of the defense, and he's done a marvelous job there as well.
But this all started because of the injury to Connor McCarthy.
Speaking of injuries, we've got a major injury for Boquet Valley as number 9.
Lucas Spilling.
Lucas Spilling
who's
is
done a
down.
Wonderful job defensively.
Yeah,
for
if
them.
they lose him, this is troublesome. We'll be back after this injury timeout.
And we're back from the injury, and it was nice to see Spilling come off. He had a little bit of help, but he was able to get off the field.
Yeah, he came off on his own power. It looked like as though he was favoring his right leg, whether it's ankle or knee, we're not certain. But coming on in his place, and now Caleb Pettit.
So the ball is sent forward by Devin Meacham, but it will work its way out of bounds. So throw in for the Eagles, but we have a substitution. DJ Gagno checking back into the game.
Dale Gagno.
And coming out of the game is Reagan Dudiak. And Mosier trying to work his way down the line. He does. He does a nice job trying to split the defense. But it was defensively Meacham. So a nice job by Oakley Bueller. And one thing that I can say, what we've seen out here, Lee, is that the Griffins have not given up, and they're giving 100% out there.
No, absolutely, and that's just a product of good North Country soccer. That's what's instilled in them from the beginning, is you play till the end of the game and you don't give up, especially against a rival like Chazy.
And so a foul on the Griffins, and it will be Heath Lucas looking to take the kick. He looks at Coach McCullough, trying to look for a little direction. And McCullough is
Pointing to Blake LeBerry, who's kind
yeah.
of snuck in behind everybody.
Yeah. Let's not forget him. And Lucas. Oh, nice spin on that ball. Trombley. And that is a handball. Wow.
Yeah.
But you see that ball, the spin from that ball from.
Bend him like Beckham, right?
Yeah.
We saw Ben like last night, Joey.
Yes, we did. It was the Ford, Jenna Ford, did a nice job for Willsboro on a corner kick. She did the same thing, and she bent it into the far post from the corner kick, from the near side far post. And Rotella had no chance on that one. So just some good North Country soccer, Calvin.
Yes.
And the ball is controlled by the Griffins. Mackenzie Stevens has the ball taken away, far sideline. Gagno working his way down, has it knocked out of bounds. So it'll be a throw-in for the Eagles. We're at 11:34 left in the second half. And, I'm going to say probably the game. I just don't see the Griffins coming back with 4 goals in the final 11 minutes. And, of course, Calvin says wrong thing to say, because I did say Northeastern and PHS. I go, Northeastern has kept PHS, has not given up a goal in 3 games. They were now in overtime. And it was probably about a minute and a half later.
Yeah.
It was the beautiful through ball.
The kiss of death.
Yeah.
You talked about the no-hitter or the shutout, and But
Yeah.
superstitions are something that sports fans love.
Yes. And it's Lucas. He'll just send the ball back. Tanner Connors looking around. Now he'll send the ball forward. And it goes off of the feet of Devin Meacham. And it's Heath Lucas. A little give and go. Stop, start, pushing it down. Ball knocked away by Matt Pribble. And Heath Lucas does make things happen out there.
Yeah, he's always thinking. Now it's a little bit of time wasting as he's showing off a little bit of his foot skills as he's taken down there. That's the kind of thing that players don't like to have to happen to them, where they get nutmegged or megged, if you will. And Heath Lucas has done that probably a half dozen times tonight. Ethan Graham checking back in. He had a great first half. Really haven't seen much of him second half.
And coming off is Jamison Fiegel, giving some minutes to the Griffins. And it is Lucas, a through ball, trying to find Dickerson. And Dickerson, on his first start in a semifinal sectional game, had a big first half.
Yeah, goal and assist, 3-point night. That's something anybody will take in a playoff game for sure.
So the ball goes to the far side, and it was Lucas trying to find Gagno, just too far ahead of him. So off the sideline throw in for the Griffins as we're under 10 minutes left. The winner of this game moves on to the championship game Saturday here against the Wildcats of Schroon Lake. And of course, Lee, you can't make that game, so I got Joe the Fish Poisson coming out of hibernation. He was supposed to work that weekend, and he doesn't have to. And then, of course, if Chazy should get by that, we'll be back here again for the regional game against Section 10.
What is the description of the wallet?
You have to describe it for us.
Is it black with pink flowers?
It does have big flowers.
Yeah, that's my friend Jocelyn.
Okay, have her come on up. What's in it?
Okay. Jocelyn, if you're...
And so the ball goes back, and it will work its way off. So we have a goal kick for Chazy.
And a couple substitutions, Jack Sweet and
Jesse
Jesse
Blaze.
Blaze, a couple seniors checking in for the Eagles to get some time here in the semifinal game with 8 minutes and 20 seconds remaining.
And Hanson's been out for a while, right?
Hanson has been out. Yeah, he came out, I want to say, 20 minutes remaining or so.
About what we figured.
Yeah. And now Heath Lucas.
His day is done.
As Coach McAuliffe is starting to send more of his upperclassmen to the check-in, as Noah Martin's waiting to check in his next opportunity.
And that's nice to see he's putting the seniors in. Semifinal game.
Knowing that there's a potential they may not see more time, down the road.
Potentially. But you never know. There's a shot from distance, and that will work its way off the end line. And it was a rip by Mackenzie Stevens, number 4. So another goal kick for Chazy, 7 minutes and 30 seconds. So it's pretty much both teams are just kind of going through the motions now, waiting for the end of the game. I think it's probably settled in for the Griffins. Their season's about ready to come to an end.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they're not going to give up. They want to put a ball in the net. Certainly anybody that's a senior wants to make an impact in their last 7 minutes of soccer in their high school career. And the underclassmen are fighting for a job next year already.
So you had mentioned there were 4 seniors for the Griffins?
4 or 5, I have to count them again, but Mackenzie Stevens, Matt Pribble, Aiden DeMuro, Lucas Spilling, Blake LeBerry, and Arlo Halloran. So there's quite a few actually out there, and I think Halloran hasn't played tonight. He must be suffering an injury because he's one of their captains as well.
So the ball goes off the sideline, so throw in for Chazy. It's Gagno. He'll take the throw in for the Eagles. We're now at the 6 minute 30 second mark, and time is marching down. And it's Lobdell trying to do a job to get by Dickerson. And the ball is now going to the feet of Ethan Graham, who has some nice speed, working his way down, pushes it to the outside. And it is, I didn't get the number on the far side.
Connors won the ball and earned the throw-in, and now Malachi Hunyar checking in for Chazy.
And of course, at the 5-minute mark, talk about that rule, Lee.
So yeah, now that we're closing in, once we reach 5 minutes, if Chazy substitutes, the clock will have to stop because they are leading the game, and that's a new rule this year. It's an anti-time wasting rule, and years past there was an age-old trick to waste time is to keep sending substitutes to the table and slowly coming off the field. So now, once the 5-minute mark hits, if the substitute happens, the clock does stop.
And I think that's a great rule that they put in this year.
Arlo Halloran.
And so here's a chance for the Griffins, and the shot will go off to the side. And of course, Lee, people watching this game, they see Chazy in their dark green uniforms. Now, this is the second year, but they are not the away team.
No, the primary color is now the home team. It's now worn by the home team, and even though we're on neutral site, still Chazy's home game because they are the higher seed. So.
And here's Jesse Blaze with some nice speed. Blaze, he is hustling down there, and he collides with Spilling, and nobody's giving up. And that'll be a foul on Blaze. No, yes it is. And Blaze has that quick burst of speed. He has that quick first step, and once he gets that going, he's a fast young man out there.
Yeah, and he is he's the very determined player. Doesn't quit ever. So he's a breath of air out there for the Eagles, and he will provide unbound pressure against the Griffins for sure.
So the ball comes into play. The ball comes into play for Chazy. Far sideline, and it's Drake sends the ball up on the feet of Sweet. Sweet trying to get it to Blaze, and it's controlled by Matt Pribble. Pribble now sends the ball forward. It deflects off of Juno, and Juno with the ball trying to find Sweet. Ball coming over to the near sideline. Hustling over for the Griffins was number 3, Negroni, but he couldn't get there in time, and wholesale changes the 1:17, 25-31.
So Patrick Engels checking in, along with Nathan Pilon, Devin Terrian, and 25 is Tragan Kuhn for Chazy, and then Arlo Halloran coming in for the Griffins.
And Kuhn actually went into net the other day.
He did. I believe that was the first time that he's played goalie.
So Sweet putting some pressure on, and Hunyar sends the ball back. It's Jesse Blaze trying to get to the ball, and it's controlled by Patrick Engels. And I think he's the German exchange student.
That's correct. Yep, exchange student from Germany.
So Engels seeing some playing time. And the ball is cleared forward. And that was by number 21, Kyle Barkholm, on the far sideline.
Nathan Pilon.
Is it defensively?
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
It was 31. Okay,
31,
it was
yeah.
a Devin Therian.
Yeah.
So off the line is Gabe Huckrow. So with 2:39 as the goalie, you want nothing more than to preserve that shutout.
Definitely, and he's got to be careful because you only have 5 seconds rather, to release that ball once you take possession. Very rare to hear it called. Only in the Women's World Cup do we see it called. But yeah, that's something that the officials could pull out of their bag of tricks.
And so coming over to help out is Connors. He knocks it out of bounds as he got away from Gary Negroni. So a deep throw in for the Griffins as we approach the 2-minute mark. And it's going to be Devin Meacham with the throw-in. Ball comes in. It goes off of the head of Coons. And the ball is sent back. Hustling back is Devin Meacham. Meacham now took the ball toward the 18. Knocked away. And it is Engels trying to clear the ball. He gets it over to Jesse Blaze. Blaze to the outside with some nice speed, trying to get by Lobdell. And it's a foot race. And Blaze and Lobdell. And the ball goes out of bounds. And a nice job by Jesse Blaze sending the ball forward, killing time.
Minute and a half remaining here in this game. Chazy's looking to advance here to the Section VII championship against the Schroon Lake Wildcats.
And on Saturday, Calvin will be here for NFHS, so it will be live streamed TV. Hometown Radio, WIRY, will be here calling it for the radio. We'll be on 100.7 FM or streamed on wiry.com. And 1380 or 1340 AM will be reserved for the football championship at 3 o'clock, which is in Plattsburgh High School. But the girls who won yesterday 4-1 are going to take on Boquet Valley in the finals Saturday here in Beekmantown at noon. And after that game, it will be the Chazy boys against the Wildcats of Schroon Lake.
A lot of soccer action coming up this weekend. And here's an opportunity for Graham, who hasn't given up now that he's back in. Here's Patrick Engels.
And Friday night, on the 1st, I will be at that Plattsburgh State Sports Complex, the campus of Plattsburgh State, with Calvin, doing the stream game with NFHS, as it will be we're carrying 2 games. The girls are playing, Northeastern girls are playing, do you remember? Beekmantown. Okay. And then the boys' game is the Hornets against Saranac, I think.
Yes. Correct.
And it's official. Chazy wins this semifinal match 4-0. The 3rd time this season they have beaten the Griffins. And Chazy will move on to the championship game. I'm Joey Trombley, along with Lee Barcombe and the founding father himself, Calvin Castine, here in Beekmantown. And as Calvin likes to say, that's the way it was in beautiful downtown Beekmantown.
The home of the Beekmantown Eagles. Thank you